Yeah, I like the cover a lot. I mean, I think the cover is very stark. It was probably used in New York for the Broadway when I was in the theatre. So it's the actress Fiona Shaw.
Yeah.
But it's a very beautiful image. I suppose she's playing the part of Mary. So it's a suggestion of Mary, but it has a crown of thorns around her mouth. And of course, the important thing here is that Mary, in our experience of her, doesn't speak. She's an icon. We see her in various guises, in, for example, Renaissance painting or in mosaic, but she doesn't speak. In the Gospel, she says very, very few things, and they're not important, so that her voice is the thing that's missing. So therefore the crown, the thorns, are almost like gagging her, or preventing her speaking. So what she does is, in the book, she pulls it away and starts to speak. I based it very loosely on St. John's Gospel. So St. John has the story of Lazarus, and he has the story of Mary at the foot of the cross, which Matthew, Mark and Luke don't have. And what I did then was I began to invent around that, just let my imagination loose to see what would happen. For example, I didn't intend to do very much with Lazarus. I wanted merely a glancing story, just a small reference to it, in the same way as there might be a reference to another miracle, as there are in the book. But I found the story so powerful that once I started to tell the story, I found this is an amazing story, because it's the only version we have of someone who doesn't come back as a ghost, but comes back as real, and therefore it's electrifying. And I found then I could work with that, so that was one example of a tiny thing, a few paragraphs in St. John's Gospel that I made into 5 or 6 pages of this book. But other things, like there's a character called Marcus, there's a strangler, I mean there are various characters who are invented. And also, we don't know what happened at the end of the crucifixion. John doesn't say. So the idea of her being so frightened, as you would be, that she just ran, she just wanted to get away. And also there are images in the book that are completely from my imagination, such as the image of the rabbits that the man is killing, also at the time of the crucifixion. That's from no source, that is entirely from me. So I was imagining, and I was using John's Gospel. I think the idea of a suffering woman who became Queen of Heaven, and the distance between the two things, someone coming from a dusty village who had no power ever in the world and ended by being Queen of Heaven. I think that captures the imagination. But also I think the image of the mother, the image of the grieving woman,